Post on the corner with yours truly, Incognito.
And guess it's DJ Misses.
DJ Misses.
What's up?
Man, BET.
Ooh, they bringing
can't
it back.
stop, won't stop.
They bringing it back.
Walking it like they talking it.
And they got some real ones.
We on a premiere day, too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
It premiered today?
Come on.
Okay, then.
Every Wednesday.
All right.
It's 106 in Sports. Cam Newton, Ashley Nicole Moss.
Hello. I'm posted on the corner. I'm posted on the corner.
What's up, y'all? Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are y'all feeling about getting on this platform? Y'all got some big shoes to fill with the 106 in Park.
It's been really surreal. I think that it's been a lot of build up to this point, so I think it's hard to I think today's probably the first day that Cam and I are like, oh, today's the day. Because It's been like a lot leading up to it, and we have not, it's been a lot, like I said, and we haven't seen anything of what's going on. We're going to be watching it with everybody else as it premieres. So we had a great time doing it. We've had a great time talking about it. We've had a great time rehearsing it and everything that goes into creating a show. And now we get to see that finished product. So we're very, very excited.
That's dope. How much of that classic BET energy are y'all putting into the show?
It's mandatory. It's mandatory, especially coming from a person that I'm lucky enough to say I've experienced a lot of differences in platforms, networks, and just experiences. But to come on this platform and be authentically blackity black.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Okay.
It's one of the most gratifying and rewarding things. And not to take anything from the other platforms because they are great as well. It's just a little different when you're looking out in the crowd and certain music is, playing and you just like, okay. Man, we had a beautiful moment on stage. I don't know if this would be aired or not, but it's like, just like Waka Flocka said, oh, let's do it. Hey, oh, let's do it. Hey, like, people... Like you,
Right. They got it. They got the
reference.
reference.
You got the,
it's in your spirit.
You know. So that innuendo is just, it's heart throbbing.
For sure. I love that.
Ashley, with a show name like 106 in Sports, how do you honor 106 in Park while creating something totally new?
It's twofold, right? So one, you take all the things that 106 in Park did really, really well. And that was being by the culture, for the culture, being authentic, being charismatic, being all the positive things that you correlate with the show, right? But I think also the other side of that is having respect for the legacy of the brand, legacy of the show, and knowing that you're not going to change it, recreate it, replace it. All you're trying to do is enhance what this brand means, right, in the sports world. So Cam and I have always been very aligned on that. We have such a huge respect for everyone that has come before us on this platform and all the different hosts, all the different iterations of 106 and Park. And we really looked to each and every single one of them and seen like what we liked with that duo and what we liked about the show and what we can take and bring into the sports world. So this is not trying to, I know how protective people are of the brand. We get it. We understand it. We respect it. What we're trying to do is just take it into a different world, if you will, and be that for what it was for us from a music entertainment standpoint, and be that for other people when it comes to the sports world and all the other aspects that we're going to bring to the show. So it's just having respect for what existed prior and how we can take that and bring it into what exists now.
Truly. Cam, congratulations on having number 2 retired at Auburn
University.
Man, that's big for sure.
It's huge.
When you think about BET, what's some of your most memorable moments or favorite shows that you watched as a kid?
Careful now.
First one that popped in my mind was the one that I wasn't supposed to be watching, but I was watching it.
What that thing smell like?
It's like it's crazy. Drop down, get your ego like it must be
because it ain't your
friend. Like Tip Drill for me, and I know BET don't want me to say that, but it's like 106 in Park was definitely one of them. We just did an interview with Big Tigger. So Big Tigger in the Basement. And some of the most iconic shows.
Teen Summit.
You know, was definitely something that really was captivating and impactful. But this one is going to really kind of make me dig in my bag a little bit. The most iconic show of all time in BET was Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones Gospel.
Yep.
And for the churchgoers out there, my grandmother would always, you know, put Bobby Jones Gospel on in the morning as we was getting prepared for church. And, you know, God rest her soul. And for me, that was the thing that I was like, yo, like, it's, So I just remember getting hip to different gospel music and so many different things, all the while, you know, listening to the, they would have the some of the shows just for me.
Yeah.
It's always nostalgic for me too. So, yeah.
That's fine. But Cam, what made you want to get into your hosting bag? We know you got your pod and you've been working really hard on that. But what made you want to crack that mic?
Man, I'm just grateful that BET gave me an opportunity because as an athlete, especially being a masked athlete playing football, not a lot of football players have personality or a character. You know, I use the example of when people take off, or when athletes or football players take off their helmet, not a lot of them are recognizable.
True.
Like, they typically can tell a football player from the size of his neck. Ooh, boy, he got a strong neck.
He brolic.
Yeah, but for us, we don't have the luxury that a basketball player may have. We don't have the luxury as a baseball player. So for me to be able to have opportunities to speak and showcase that type of skill and be entertaining enough to captivate an audience is something that I will still be grateful, you know, amongst other things, you know, that BET has given me.
Entertaining you are.
Speaking of entertaining, what's a core memory that you feel you all created while on set this season?
Oh my gosh. A few. First of all, Cam and his 6 espresso shots. If it sounds like a lot, it's because it is.
I was about to say 6 espresso shots.
Yes, and he sips it throughout the
When I
day.
first came in here, there was a sign outside that said, "This is a judgment-free."
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Check the judgment.
I think one of my favorite memories so far is probably off when we're like in between breaks or like, you know, camera resets and stuff like that. Cam has 2 things he likes to do. One is he likes to poll the audience. So it's hypotheticals like, would you rather date a guy with no legs or no arms? Or would you rather...
Give real examples. And we just mentioned one.
Waffle House.
On the first
So
date.
Waffle House has been a very big debate this entire press run, this entire rehearsal run, everything. Cam thinks Waffle House is an acceptable first date.
It's ghetto caviar.
Yeah.
He says you got to work your way up to Ruth Chris or any of those. You can't start there. You got to work your way up there. I think Waffle
take me
House...
on a picnic.
Yes, but I think Waffle House is not an acceptable first date. I think it's only an acceptable first date if, like, we're out somewhere and we're out together all night. And we're like, I'm hungry. Are you hungry? And you're like, yeah, I'm hungry. And Waffle House is open. But it's 7:30. You're going to pull me up to Waffle House on our first date? It's the first
You got a
time.
personal shelf. You can select the music you want to
You
hear.
dig what I'm saying?
You got your own, like,
You got a
it's
whole
cool.
vibe.
You know, the
But
personal
you
stuff.
And you got security.
I'm sure you do.
Waffle House got security.
Not every Waffle House has
Waffle
security.
House, y'all ain't never been to a Waffle House?
Not
Got
every-
security
I-
standing outside?
Not every Waffle House has security. I can tell you that much.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
That's a good
Are
area.
you
Not
serious?
everyone. Not everyone.
That's a good area. You might
Where
be
y'all
embracing.
been? Every Waffle House,
No, it's
especially
not.
at nighttime,
No, it's
has
not.
security.
I'm driving out the way to go to the good ones.
No.
Yeah.
See. Take me back to the ratchetness, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, the reason why Waffle House is so essential, especially on the first date, I hear so many women complain about keeping that same energy, right? When you keep the energy that's not able to always be met, you meet an individual. That's not to say that you shouldn't attract this or have this. A person gives you flowers. A person brings an Uber Black. A person then says, hey, we're going to go to Ruth Chris. A person then says, hey, we're going to go da-da-da-da-da. You done spent upwards of about $500 to $600 Well, if you just start at Waffle House, ain't no way but to go but then up. So you trying to go down after that?
No, why can't you go up, down, up? Like every date.
You don't get to dictate.
But every
But
date.
you can't take me on the first date to Ruth Chris and then turn around and take me to Waffle House.
You see what I'm
See,
saying?
no.
Come
See,
on.
I actually disagree with that. I think that like a first date is where you kind of like pull out all the stops. It's like whatever. But like third,
But if
fourth,
a man's
fifth
thinking
date,
about
it
taking me to
doesn't.
Waffle House, you might as well set up a cute picnic.
But
or,
I think
or
that-
put some more thought into
But
it.
I think
It don't
if
how to
you're-
break your pocket.
I think I
don't
agree.
want nobody
I don't
breaking
think
their
you should
pocket
break
over
your
dating
pocket.
the man or you're dating the date?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with a first date and you kind of like laying out all the stops. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a second, third date and it's not as elaborate as the first date. I think there should be a balance. I don't see anything wrong with there being a balance. Like you took me out to a really nice restaurant the first date and maybe the second, third date is something a little bit more even keeled in the middle. There's nothing wrong with that.
Are you willing to pay for the first date?
No.
Okay.
That's also a conversation we had.
That's cool.
That's
because
I'm not.
There's so
no.
many what I'm not doing rather than.
But I told you
allowing-
I'd slide in someone's DMs.
That's cool.
If I ask the man on a date, I'll pay for it. But if
how-
he asks me, I'm
okay.
not paying for
I'm
it.
glad you said that. How many times in your life have you ever asked a man out on a date?
He don't know me.
Say that, big
About
dog.
4 or 5 times.
Yes,
And how did that work out for you?
Not good because I'm not with him. But they was good first dates though.
Right? So I'm not trying to shade, and I appreciate you for taking the initiative. Oftentimes for me, it's hard living, let alone to get signs. Man, you got and I'm sorry, but like when women wear rings on their fingers and they're not married. It's so hard to kind of identify and like.
These are not wedding rings. Just want to put that out there.
I'm about to say, Andrew,
Then the middle finger, other one, you gotta pay attention. Like, which
You
one
see
is
what
it?
I'm saying?
Yeah, it
So
do
as
go
a
out.
man,
It do
it's
go
like,
out.
yo, how can I really, come on to a woman in these days because it's so many things that you have to go through. A guy. I'm sorry, I apologize. A woman like Ashley is so intimidating.
Why am I intimidating?
You don't get to judge your paper. I'm saying from a man normally, he got to have his stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Just to have any type. I respect you being able to say, hey, you sending a flare gun. I'm available. Hey, I think you're cute. Okay, cool. Men need that type of help to even align with you. When you wearing a ring, that it's like, hold on, she got to be married. She ain't married. All right, cool.
This looks like a
How
wedding ring to you.
will a dude
I'm about to say, as a
know?
man, you can't tell.
You can't tell this is
No,
like
it's-
fashion jewelry.
No.
I don't know what that ring
Which is really cute. So by the way,
So if
It's definitely
Let's help you out.
cute, but I'm
So,
saying
yeah.
that's one example.
there you go.
That's one example.
Do I still look married?
That's
Yeah,
one
there's a
example
ring on
of
there.
many examples that it's still tough for a man to really weave through trying to get a female's attention. And that's not to say that, hey, I come from the cloth of if you like it, go get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter from a male's perspective or a female's perspective because at the end of the day, men, the alpha of the most alpha still needs help or signs to say you're available. That's it.
for sure.
Cam Newton, Ashley Nicole Moss is here. We're talking about 106 in sports.
Yeah.
Debuting every Wednesday on BET. Make sure you get that. I asked Ashley what was her core memory from the season. I got to ask you the same, Cam. What's your core memory of the season?
Well, it's just the first show, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's really going on these runs. And I remember when we did our chemistry test, and Ashley was my first one. So she set the bar extremely high, and I had the opportunity to meet.
He was my first one too. First screen test one.
That's fire.
Thank you.
For any confusion.
Just
Thank
put it, clarify.
You know,
Thank you.
people gonna be
You
in
know.
the comments
Just wanted
talking
to
about
clarify.
that. No.
Good chemistry.
For us, it's not that I did not expect her to know, but her professionalism, the way she's been covering sports for so long in a way that's very unique, and it's empowering for women to have a voice in sports, especially being a double minority, African American, but also a woman at that. And she's holding her own, man. And I just get to see her not only be good at what she does, but also the growth that comes with it as well. Now, we've all seen the dynamic of 106 over the years, and we will reiterate, this is not 106 in Park.
Right.
This is 106 in Sport. And they've always had the dynamic duo, the man and the woman's dynamic, and we just hope that we hold our end of the bargain, that the viewer can appreciate. And, you know, even talking to like Terrence J, hearing his testimonials of what 106, you know, did for him and his career, we just hope we could do the same.
For sure. Ashley, now you've broke barriers in sports. Now, you being a woman in sports media, what are some challenges that you face? And also, how do you bring awareness to them?
I think the challenges are what a lot of women in sports face, right? I think it's one, you're in an industry that's predominantly run and dominated by men. I think men are given the grace of, whether you're a former athlete or just a man in general in sports, you're kind of given the grace that knowing sports is in your DNA, right? So yeah, so-and-so may have not played professional football or professional basketball, but he's a man, so he has to know sports.
Right.
I think there's this ideology that women can't possibly know sports as well as men do, and they can't possibly know sports better than men do because they're women, and it's just not what they do. And I think it's breaking those barriers, and you've always had to kind of be twice as good. You had to be twice as sharp. You had to be twice as articulate just to be taken as seriously. Men are kind of given the freedom to make mistakes, to mispronounce names, stats. If a woman does it, that's why women don't belong in sports. She doesn't know what she's like. It's a different playing field. And I think it's the other side of it too. You know, if you're a woman, there's a difference, and you're dealing with men, and you're dealing with alpha men on a regular basis, and you're dealing with athletes on a regular basis. It's, you're sleeping with this one, you're dating this one. Oh, you're about to be this one's baby mama. You probably already, like, it's this whole thing that goes into it that men don't have to deal with, right? When, you know, a Stephen A. Smith interviews a Candace Parker, no one says they're sleeping together. You know what I mean? Or like a Stephen A. Smith interviews Asia Wilson, they're not sleeping together. You know, so it's a different level of attention to detail that you have to kind of give yourself as a woman, and it's definitely exhausting. But I've also gotten to the point where it's like, I've realized I could be fully covered up, I could be in a tight dress, I could be in long pants, I could have a bag over my face, and there will be somebody who says, she's trying to seduce this person, she's trying to get this person. Like, it doesn't matter. So just like, be you, be professional, but also know what you're talking about. And I think that's what it is.
I'll say something to that too. I think even though that may be true, and that is true in some cases, but I think the plus for being a woman in sports is, in some cases, more of a skill than not, because what a woman may do that a man cannot is unlock the vulnerability.
I agree with that.
Shield. And I've seen it firsthand. You know, they have Bam, you know, playing horse with Ash. You know, as we were getting prepared for the show, we were talking about certain things, and for Ash to kind of flex her muscle, like, I could get, you know, this person on the thing. I said, wait, what, for real? And people feel comfortable talking to individuals that are talented at what they do, no matter what the gender is. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen Ashley do her job at a high level that people are going to talk. People are going to speculate. People are going to assume. But you know what happens when people assume? You know,
What has happened?
Those things will come up. But for her to still stay professional through it all, knowing what she's talking about, even though I give her flack for being a Dallas Cowboys fan, representing Brooklyn or the Bronx or Long Island.
Not the Bronx.
Or
Dial-a-back.
or Harlem. Like, bruh, yeah, being a woman from New York and being proud of her Knickerbockers is, and knowing it is something that I tip my hat off to.
Yeah, I think that vulnerability aspect is very true. I think that women naturally just are more emotional. And I think that emotion allows you to kind of connect with athletes who are constantly on guard, right? So when I was at Sports Illustrated interviewing athletes, you can kind of see the difference. And Cam knows this because he's been on the other side. Yeah. Athletes go into a lot of interviews, especially when they're playing. When they're, you know, retired, it's different. But when they're actively playing, they're already on guard because they're kind of like, all right, what are they going to try to pull out of me? What are they going to try to say, get me to say that I don't want to say? So they're already kind of like walls up. And I think that women in sports have an ability to kind of take those shields down and get real versions of those athletes. And that's something that I do definitely think is a superpower as a woman in the industry, is you can kind of like with your subject be like, look, I'm not trying to trap you. I'm not trying to, get you to say something you don't want to say. Let's just have a conversation. And you can kind of see it you can kind of see it in real time. When an athlete walks into an interview space and they see a woman across from them, you can kind of see them take a deep breath almost. Versus when like a man's across from them, you kind of see him like bulk up a little bit. And I definitely agree with that. It's a different relationship that you can have in the industry.
Ashley, BT is known for amplifying platforms for artists, athletes, of such. When we look at 106 in sports, what's something that you want this platform to amplify for athletes?
I definitely want it to be a safe space, but a real space. I don't want them to come in thinking, the questions won't be asked. Cam's going to ask them. I'm going to ask them. But I definitely want it to be a space where they know it's people like them, people from similar walks of life than them. Cam being from Atlanta, me being from New York, growing up in inner cities and things like that. It's more relatability than there is differences. And I think that's something that, a lot of athletes feel they miss when they go to mainstream, some of these bigger platforms, some of these more, I just not say bigger platforms, some of these more traditional platforms. They don't feel there's a relatability there. And I think that one thing that Cam and I want to create is a space of relatability, authenticity, but also a space where we're going to ask the tough questions, we're going to ask the honest questions, but you're amongst family, you're amongst your people. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference maker on this show versus some other shows.
Yeah.
Posted on the corner.